Captain Digital Sound.
Episode 5, Campaign Chaos. Even perfect plans can crash if you forget the controls. It was Cannes Lion 2022 and marketers were just happy to be let out in the sun again. Media teams hurried from one back-to-back meeting after another. Creative teams did whatever creatives do in Cannes. Down at the Brand Innovators Beach, our Jerry is chatting away about liquid media, building a new approach to media that accelerates growth but has responsibility consciously built in. The crowd nods along, presumably just glad to be out of the hot French sun. Working in alcohol, as Jerry once again was, certainly elevates the importance of responsibility. Ensuring legal drinking age consumers are the only ones to see your content is key, but so are wider considerations around quality and context, especially for higher end brands. Conscious media means a broad range of things. Yes, brand safety for sure, but also understanding diversity and representation in your investment, tightly managing efficiency principles like frequency, considering sustainability amongst your media and tech choices. It's not just where your ads appear, but truly what they fund in the media ecosystem. Just as they were in the midst of things, a worrying alert popped up on Jerry's watch. An alert from the conscious advertising team. Despite all their best efforts, some of their ads had just shown up on some undesirable sites. Wrapping up things as quickly as he could, Jerry hurried off the stage. Much as he usually loved the chance to meet new people and network, now just wasn't the time. He had to get to the bottom of this. How had it happened with everything they'd put in place? A particularly warm, friendly, if slightly over-enthusiastic ad tech guy stopped Jerry in his path. Jerry tried to make his apologies, looking down at his flashing watch, but pulling out his card, Jacek assured Jerry this was the exact perfect time to speak. As he handed over the card, it began to glow. Jerry felt an immediate sense of recognition. This wasn't any ordinary technology. Flipping round in his hand, it changed to reveal the Campaign Setup Governor's logo. Captain Digital Sense was not the only hero in town that week. A knowing nod between the two casually dressed heroes. Jacek gestured that he had something more to show Jerry. The two headed off towards the water, seamlessly transforming into their super alter egos as they went. Now our two heroes met properly for the first time. The captain reaching out to shake the governor's hand. They kept on walking down the pier until they reached their destination, a slightly old school looking red seaplane. "This is your campaign," the governor gestured as he climbed on board, "but the best way to see what's gone wrong with it is to take it up in the sky." Despite being fairly sure that this was absolutely not the best way to check whether something was wrong with a plane, the captain agreed. Before he knew it, the two of them were taxiing along the sea line and then blasting high up in the air above the festival. At first, the captain was loving it, waving down at the beach houses, heading down to the end of the strip, over the Baoli bar at the end. But then he looked properly down at his campaign cockpit, and he was very worried. The plane had only the most basic of controls. How had the campaign even taken off with just these? A very simple controller, on-off toggles for the most basic targeting, a viewability dial that maybe did something? The captain was alarmed. The governor, much less so, laughing from behind him. He handed him a small metal object, the Adfidence Cube. These days, the vast majority of media decisions are made in your campaign setup, and without proper governance, you were just flying blind. Just in time, the two appeared to be heading towards quite a bad storm, and indeed before they could even say MRC, viewability was down to almost zero. But in the dark, the Adfidence Cube sprang to life, connecting its APIs across all of the campaign's active digital channels and getting into the weeds of all their setup. Immediately, campaign performance from all of them was visible to the captain, as was the setup and options in place. It took just moments to navigate them out of that cloud into full viewability. Their plane transformed to a modern fighter jet of campaign activation, a huge digital sense flying behind them for all to see. But what was that? Dozens of smaller planes flying similar but distorted flags were now visible alongside them for the ride. Had they always been there? This wasn't so good. Suddenly the issue was clear. Campaign extensions had been switched on by default on some of their media owners, which was how they were serving extended impressions in far lower quality environments. It was easy now to see the settings, and a simple toggle in the Adfidence Cube switched them off across every platform. The cheap campaign extensions fell down into the sea, where we're pretty sure they've biodegraded responsibly. Whilst extensions can play a role, their cheap reach comes with its own risks. The two cheered, the campaign back on course. The captain looped through the air, spelling out the Digital Sense logo in sky writing as he flew high above the palais below. He was a little surprised then to see several further jets zoom in alongside them, and then several more, all of them piloted by what looked like extended members of the governor's team. More and more jets filled the air. Soon you couldn't make out the sky writing at all. The air was just saturated with exhaust from them all. The captain looked down at his upgraded cockpit. Another simple error. Frequency caps hadn't been properly engaged. A simple slide to get them back in line with brilliant basics, and the other jets peeled off to spread the message to other consumers elsewhere. And what now? A storm of misinformation and noise approaching, fake news and low-quality bots circling around them. How was all this happening with the policies they put in place? The governor handed him a live report from the Adfidence Cube. Even with the best intentions and policies, different agencies, or even different people within them around the world can easily make small errors in campaign setup that unleash all of this. Luckily, with proper governance in place, it's once again easy to ensure that whoever is doing the local activation, they're doing so with the right settings activated. The sky's clearing, bad inventory crashing to the ground, the pair barrel rolled towards the festival. Not to be outdone, the captain activated a technology of his own, an ad verification tag attached to every impression to ensure each was truly landing where it was supposed to. Not bad, the governor admitted, but he pointed ahead towards the walled garden cliff they were heading towards. We've got to make it through there, and I'm afraid that rocket won't make it past the entrance. Indeed, it was true. As they blasted through into the walled garden, the verification rockets fell uselessly to the floor. Having full visibility of campaign set up in their own cockpit meant there was nothing to worry about. That was until the captain looked ahead one last time to where they needed to land the plane. Not a runway at all, but a helipad floating amongst the AdTech yachts. The governor grabbed the controls. With full campaign setup in place, precise activations like this aren't a problem at all. The jet ensured all the proper targeting was in place, switched into vertical takeoff and landing mode, and landed effortlessly back on the ground. A job well done! The captain was certainly relieved to know his campaign was fully optimised and not leaking out anymore. The governor had one last thing to show him, gesturing towards his cabana. Inside a blue glow of dashboards and flashing activity. From here, the captain could see not just one campaign plane, but every single one his teams had up in the air around the globe. He was relieved to see a lot of green ticks, but all was not perfect. Reports of missing frequency caps, out-of-country impressions, and other setup issues blinked away. The two swept into action, setting up default settings for absolute essentials that every campaign should achieve, sending notes to the agencies responsible for others to sense-check their approach. In minutes, every campaign globally was back on track. Not just safe and secure, but driving huge efficiency and effectiveness improvements by properly applying their brilliant basic principles. Now that was a job well done. The captain hurried off, wondering how many of his back-to-back meetings he'd missed whilst dealing with this issue, but with a new stride in his step. Power unlocked! The Adfidence Cube, giving advertisers confidence.
Adfidence. Every marketer should have one to get back confidence in where they are actually advertising.
Jacek, we agreed this couldn't actually be an advertorial. Other campaign setup governance tools may one day be available, guys.
But probably not as good.
Well, on that note, and so the adventure continues.
Captain Digital Sense.